Yeah. My screen went out because I touched it.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Board of County Commissioners meeting for March 12th, 2024. Would you all please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. First off, gentlemen, are our minutes, do we have any additions or corrections?
I do not.
I do not.
Okay.
I move to approve the proceedings of Board of County Commissioners for Montezuma County for Tuesday, March 5th, 2024 as presented.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to accept the proceedings of the Board of Commissioners, Montezuma County, March 5th, 2024. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Moving right into planning. Come on down, ladies and gentlemen.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning.
All we have this morning is the Mylar to be signed for Ramble Outdoors and their permitted envelope.
Okay. Easy, roll them out.
You're not making another bet, are you? Okay. I think I still open. Checking on you. Oh, that was me. I don't know. I loaded with static electricity or something. I don't know. I think it's this chair.
Okay.
That's
Gosh.
short and
All I
sweet
did
for
was
us
touch the
unless you
corner
got
of my-
Short
something.
and sweet. I don't have anything
Good.
at this point in time.
We'll move off and move on then.
We'll see what's coming forward, but not at
Well,
this
there's
point
plenty
in time.
coming forward. We'll see how it goes.
P&Z Thursday night?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
All right, thanks.
All right, thank you all. Okay, moving on to public comment. I'm just gonna basically ask, do we have, yes, okay. Public comment, the public comment session is open. Montezuma County Commissioners welcomes you to this meeting. Person speaking during the public comment will be limited to 3 minutes, or depending on the number of people wishing to speak, it may be reduced to allow all the members of the public the opportunity to address the board. When addressing the board, please state your name and address for the record prior to providing your comments. Comments to individuals, supervisors, or staff are not permitted, and participants may not yield their time to others. With that, the public comment session is open.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity. My name is Alan Mays, 21693 County Road 21 in Lewis, Colorado. I want to start off with asking the commissioners to consider a resolution to ban daylight savings time for Montezuma County. Stick to one or the other. But anyway, I listened to the workshop yesterday after the workshop, but because I looked at the agenda for today and there were a couple of things on there that made me scratch my head. And so I would ask that for today's, for today's agenda, that more explanation is given to the public on what these things are. There's a couple of grants that are coming forward that when I looked at it before I listened to the workshop, it made me worried. I didn't know what that grant was going to be for. I'm not going to bring it up. You guys have to decide whether you're going to pass that along or not. I think it's probably going to, but acronyms and wording of agenda items, I think, need to be a little clearer for the public, because if they don't go to the workshop or they don't call you and ask you, what are you doing, they're going to have those worries too of what did the commissioners pass. A couple of things that are out there. I went to the meeting on Saturday for the public safety sales tax. There were some questions asked, and after a person asked a question, the commissioners or a commissioner said, well, what can you live without? If we have to cut services, what is it that you could live without? And if you had 100 people in there and you asked them, all of them would have a different response. I know I would. There are a lot of services that I don't take advantage of. I do know that others do, and they have to do it, I guess, but I think those need to be looked at. If this public safety sales tax doesn't pass, then you are going to have to make some hard decisions of what you do limit. If you're going to put it on the people who come into our county to reduce or relieve the burden of the property, private property rights, you have to hit things that those people will utilize. And I think one of those is food. I don't want to see food being taxed more, but what else are they going to use? What do they use when they come into town? Maybe there needs to be some fees attached to people who come and use Phil's World. If they go to Phil's World, what does the county get from that? Nothing. So I think there might need to be some fees considered when you look at these people coming in that are going to relieve my burden. And if that burden is relieved, how is that repayment that's going to be given back to the private property tax going to be allowed? What's going to be, how equitable is that going to be? Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Did it reset?
It restarted, and right, it didn't even give me a warning, it just restarted. So did I have more time?
I think you need to call IT.
All right. I'm gonna have to have-
What do we call them?
Something different that's not working.
Oh my God.
Okay. Well, we'll give it just a minute to restart here.
I'll be back up in a second.
When's Travis coming back?
We can't ask him, we don't have it up. It's not. Do, 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 do. James forwarded me that report from Mesa Verde National Park. Did you see that?
Mm-mm. Just now?
Yeah, it came in at 8:30, 8:38.
No, I'm not refreshed. I must not be hooked on mine.
Okay, you should be back up.
Good? Okay. All right. Any more public comment before we move on? I'll make sure that we're live before we proceed, so. Okay. Seeing no further public comment, we will move on. The Bureau of Land Management, further known as the BLM, is not in here yet. They did send an email that said that they would be coming to provide an update. So as soon as Mr. Padilla gets here, we'll back up and go to that. Right now, we're going to go into unfinished business, which what we talked about yesterday in our workshop. First on the list is the Paso Mesa Verde Phase Number 2. This is just, can you bring that up? Working with OTAC, who is the firm that was doing this work for us for the final designs for the Paso Mesa Verde. We're still on schedule and on track, according to our natural resource James Dietrich yesterday. So this is more of just an update. We're all, like I said, on budget. Anything else you guys want to add to that? So, moving forward. Next, so I will not talk in acronyms. I try not to talk in acronyms. I do, however, find myself talking in acronyms a lot of the time. Yesterday we were presented by our grant writer and Miss Martin. We had the Bureau of Justice Assistance Bulletproof Vest Partnership. If you can pull that up, Mr. McLean. And this is for vests for the sheriff's office. This is a reimbursement. Our 50% was $5,925, and the total cost would be $11,850. And these, we asked the question yesterday, how long are they good for? They have to roll them out every 5 years. So this is just an ongoing type of equipment that we have to provide the law enforcement that we have. So with that.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. I mean,
Okay. I move to approve this Montezuma County grant application submission form for the Montezuma County Sheriff's Office for the bulletproof vest grant in the amount of $11,850.
second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the Montezuma County grant application submission form for the bulletproof vest grant. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Next up, we had, and this is the name on this is a little bit deceiving. So I will explain it a little bit more because I actually had the same question yesterday myself. Persons Who Wander grant. However, this is for drone training, and it's for $2,635. Eyes in the sky. So it is a little bit deceiving, and I think we did display that yesterday as we talked about it in our workshop. So this is also a grant submission form. Do we have it, Robert? Or that's, I'm sorry, we already have it.
Yeah, this grant was approved the first meeting of January. This is, you just need authorization to sign the grant now that they've received it.
Correct. So we already went through submission form. It's just a matter of me now having to sign it.
Who we authorizing to sign?
I-
Okay. I would so move we authorize the chairman to sign the Person Who Wander grant for the program of Eyes in the Sky in the amount of $2,635.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to sign the Colorado Bureau of Investigation Department of Public Safety grant in the amount of $2,635 for Eyes in the Sky. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. The next one, the Post-Rural and Small Agency Academic Grant. We had quite a bit of conversation on this one yesterday. It was not, we won't be moving this forward today because we have to have our grant writer reach out to the Sheriff's Department to work through this one. So at this point in time, there is no action that's necessary for this one. All right, the next one up is going to be the MoCo, the Montezuma County Senior Services AAA grant application. This here again is a reimbursement, a grant submission form, and these are estimated numbers on here. 50,000 for the senior center. I'm sorry, 50,000 for MoCo, and 142,750.95 for the senior center. It was discussed yesterday that she said that we are looking at about 18% of a reduction, possibly. So this is just an estimated look at what we're doing for the submission form at this point in time.
Yeah, and just to clarify, AAA is the Area Agency on Aging.
Correct. All right.
And they are the largest funder for both MoCo and for the senior center.
All right.
I move to approve this grant application submission form for the MoCo Transportation and Senior Services through AAA.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to accept the Montezuma County grant application submission form for MoCo Transportation and the Senior Services. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay, next up we had a letter of support for the Mancus Ready Grant. We didn't have a lot yesterday. This is just a letter of support, which we do to help. This will be for the town of Mancus in their applications for them moving forward. So, did I miss anything on this one? This is pretty
No.
straightforward and simple.
You okay?
Mm-hmm.
I move to sign this letter of support for Mancus to the Department of Local Affairs. To help this will help municipalities within the county to plan and complete projects that will diversify their local economy.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to sign the letter of support for the town of Mancus for the READY grant, which is the Rural Economic Development Initiative, READY, R-E-D-I. Any further discussion?
No.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
There's nobody home.
Okay. Next on our agenda is a decision, which I'm not sure we're ready to make this decision yet, gentlemen, but we can talk about it a little bit more. We have talked about it several times in our discussions. Over the past workshops, we have items that we can exempt. We talked about it again yesterday, and I think the conversations that we have had is the only thing that we were looking at this point in time is exempting item E, which is the farm equipment not including animal identification equipment unless expressly exempted by the city or county. Is there anything else we need to talk about on this one?
I don't think so at this time. For me, no.
I don't.
So I think as was presented in public comment, item A is kind of what the gentleman was alluding to, was food for domestic home consumption. And as stated, that's part of our conversations that we have had. That's one of the ways to capture a lot of the movement through the county. So we have had a lot of conversations on all of these items. So at this point in time, until I think our attorney said April 1st, we have to have this decision, or on April 2nd, whenever our meeting is that day, then we will finalize all of those, and then that will go into the ballot language. So we'll move right on through that, and I see Mr. Padilla walking in the room. We're going to put him right on the spot as he gets in here. And we'll jump back up to the BLM update, Bureau of Land Management.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Morning there. How you doing?
Doing well, thanks. How about yourselves?
Good,
Great.
thank you.
All right, so I'll just get going. So we recently posted the supplementary rules in the Federal Register for review. So that is open until April 29th. Basically, what that is just to explain how that works is that when we develop a plan and we, make decisions within that plan, in order for us to actually enforce the decisions that were made, we have to go through this other process called the supplementary rule process. So basically, the decisions have already been made. So what the comment period is about is just ensuring that what we're codifying basically, with the supplementary rule is in alignment with the decisions that were made. So it's basically to take a look at those plans that have already been or have already had decisions to ensure that the language, in the supplementary rule there again is the same as what's within the decisions. So the Terrestrials Field Office supplementary rules are based on the Terrestrials Resource Management Plan, the TAP-1 decision, the Dolores River Corridor decision, and I think that's it. The Gunnison Field Office, their supplementary rules are included in ours as well because of Silverton. We used to have Silverton, and then that's been transferred over to the Gunnison Field Office, so therefore some of those rules are in there as well. So at any rate, we just want you all to know that we're not making any new decisions or anything with the supplementary rules. It's just basically the process that we have to go through to codify any decisions that were made in any of these plans. So is there any question on that? I know it can be kind of confusing. It was kind of confusing to me, and then it confuses the public and everybody else, like what's going on here. So I just wanted to make sure I was clarifying that for you all.
So, yeah, why did they make it so confusing?
I don't know.
I mean,
I asked that question, being new to the agency, and I have not found, a good answer yet. It was basically one person theory is that it's probably due to litigation at some point, within the BLM, where somebody sued that the rules were not the same as what was in the plan. So then now we have to go through this process to actually codify the rules. I know on the Forest Service side, I can speak to that for us to be able to like when we do our fire restrictions, we, well, maybe that's a bad example because that's an emergency action and we can't do that. But our travel, well, not travel management either. If we just have an area closure for some reason that we want to close, we have to go through the NEPA process to be able to do that. And then it's only good, for a certain number of years. In order for it to be, for a 1 year, closure of an area, we would have to do a minimum of a categorical exclusion. From 1 to 3 years, we would have to do an environmental assessment. And then for up to 5 years, we would have to do environmental impact statement. And if we wanted to do it for, forever, indefinitely, then we would have to go through the supplementary rule process. The Forest Service has chosen not to do that and just review, their decisions every, depending on what that NEPA analysis level was. Every 3 years we would have to go back and take a look if we did an EA for that, to see if anything has changed and issue a new special order, for that closure. While the BLM has decided, for these things that are going to be indefinite, we're going to go through the supplementary rule process. And there again, I think they separated the two efforts probably due to some litigation in the past, where, yeah, they were challenged on that.
Okay,
Yeah.
make things more difficult.
Right, right. No, I would think that, you know, at the end of the decision, we could just add a sentence saying, you know, once a decision has been made and all protests, appeals, you know, and litigation has been resolved, well, then we can implement. But unfortunately, that's not the case. So anyway, so that's out there, like I said, till April 29th for review, so go ahead and take a look. The Gunnison Sage Grouse and the big game EISs, those comment periods ended at the beginning of February. The county did, I think, comment on both those plans. So they're currently in the process of responding to those comments. It should be, you know, putting out, you know, something here in the next couple of months, you know, as far as what changes were made and keeping that process moving along. So thank you to the county for providing input on those. Anybody have any questions on those? No?
I do not. No?
All right, and then hopefully at the end of this week, if this weather actually comes to fruition, we plan to be burning out in the Yellow Jacket area. So if you see smoke out in that area, it's probably us. And then as the snow starts coming off, we'll have some spring burning over in the Dolores Rim area as well. So keep an eye on that. And then we're starting to hear a little more about the public lands rule that we should start, or that they should, you know, release something here in the next couple of months related to that as far as the final rule. They did, you know, what they're telling us is that they did make some, you know, substantial changes based on comments, you know, from counties and other entities, but we haven't heard exactly, you know, how it's changed. So just keep that on your radar, that will be coming out, and when it comes out, you know, take a look at it.
Okay.
And that's all I had, unless you have any questions on anything else.
Anything?
No.
I guess pretty straightforward.
All right, sounds good.
Get some burning done, and maybe we'll be off to a good start for the springtime.
Right, exactly, yeah. And then, I guess, you know, and then we are gearing up for, you know, our summer season. That's gonna be on us before we know it, with regards to recreation. You know, we're assuming that, you know, that we're gonna have some sort of spill, you know, from McPhee, just where we're at now with water levels and how much snowpack we have. You know, so it's probably not gonna be anything like last year, but we're anticipating we'll at least have something.
Good.
All right.
All right. Thank you,
Thank you
Derek.
all.
All
Thank you,
right,
Derek.
appreciate it.
Uh-huh.
All right. Mr. McLaren, County Attorney's Report.
Couple minor things last week. I guess I'll start with this. Yesterday, we received a motion from the attorney representing Ironwood for an extension of time to respond to the motion that I filed to reduce the sanctions that have been accrued to judgment. The attorney asked for an 8-day extension. The answer is due at this point on March 13th, and so he asked for an 8-day extension, citing the need to still get some additional information. I anticipate that will be granted. These things generally are, and it's a very short extension, but we did receive that yesterday afternoon. Last week, last Friday, I submitted a little bit of additional information to the state in the case involving our fair board. They had asked for a little bit of additional information just to clarify a few things that were raised in the complainant's rebuttal. And so I put together a short response, worked with the fair board on that, and really appreciate the fair board's help with that. I mean, these are volunteer folks, and they've gone above and beyond to make my job easier in this thing and to provide me with the information I have that I need to defend this thing. So we did get that submitted at the end of last week. The last thing I have, and Mr. Dobry, maybe you can come up and explain this too if we need to, but you recall the the Mesa Elementary Playground Improvement Grant that we approved. There's one additional piece of paper that we have received. It's just an itemized list that just lays out exactly what everything's gonna cost. I mean, you guys already approved all these amounts. This sheet just lays out each individual itemized amount, and this needs to be signed so they can proceed forward with this. Mr. Dobry, I'm not sure, I don't see a signature line on this.
They, because the county is the grantee, they submitted, the school district submitted the grant request, or the grant reimbursement request, and the GOCO just asked that because we're the grantee, the county is the grantee, that Commissioner Candelaria sign that form as well, with the detail. They said because it had already been signed by the district administrator, just to sign at the bottom.
So we would just need a motion to sign it. And it's nothing new, again.
No, it's what
nothing
you already
additional. It's just an
approved at the last
itemized,
meeting,
it's just
yeah.
an itemized list of what's already been approved.
Yep. And this was, like you said, just a pass-through grant for the school district, and
Exactly.
it's done. They presented to us, I think, a couple weeks ago.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's in operation and going well, so.
I would so move we sign the Mesa Elementary Improvement Actual Expense Worksheet and authorize the chairman to sign it.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to sign the Mesa Elementary Playground Improvement Actual Expense Worksheet for the school district RE1. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Just at the bottom anywhere? Just,
Just at the bottom, yeah.
okay. All right.
That's all I have to report.
All right, Ian. Travis, do you have anything? Can you hear us okay?
Yes, sir. Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so not a whole lot to report, but it was a very busy week. Last week we met with a group to talk about the 2024 budget, and I think we got some information out there to clarify their questions. The rest of the week we was dealing with the public safety sales tax information, and I do want to publicly thank Dennis Bugg for his partnership in this. He's helped it go a lot smoother. Thursday we will be meeting with Luann from the Department of Revenue to finalize numbers and hopefully have that information to you gentlemen. And obviously Saturday, we done the initial presentation to the League of Women Voters. Think that went quite well, but I will let you gentlemen expound on that if you wish.
All right, thank you, Travis. Okay, Commissioner's report to my left. Commissioner Kopilka.
This past week was not attended the caucus meetings Thursday night for our precinct, and attended the meeting on Saturday with the League of Women Voters, and got asked quite a few questions about the public safety sales tax, but actually most of the people there were pretty receptive to what we were presenting and asked a lot of questions and trying to get some information out there to people. That's about all I
Okay.
had. Not a whole lot of.
That's
Commissioner
That's
Lindsey.
me. I mean, we went to the meeting over in Dolores, and it was a good turnout. A lot of good questions, and hopefully we answered some of their questions and got things set up. But I did receive an email just a while ago, and I'm going to have to get with IT to circulate this, because it came in on my personal email. It's from, let me get this straight, and it's a big file, so we have to figure out how to get this transferred over. It's from a Mrs. Dorenkamp in the U.S. Board on Graphic Names, otherwise known as the BGN. There's another acronym for you, I didn't know. And anyway, somebody has requested that we name a peak, an unnamed peak in Montezuma and La Plata County as La Monte Peak. And it appears somewhere on an FCC license. And evidently there's a communication tower up there, and somebody wants to officially name this peak. So in all of this, they sent me a file that's too big to forward. So we'll get that worked out and distribute it and get on with that. Other than that, I have city council tonight and go from there.
Okay, well, gosh, everything has pretty much been covered. I'm not gonna beat a dead horse, other than it was a good meeting on Saturday. We were all there. I then went and took a ride up to the mountains to check snow depths. I will just give you a brief. At 9,000 feet, you have about 20 inches, and about 10,005 feet, depending on where you get stuck at, it's about 5 feet deep. And it takes a lot of effort and work to get out of it. I did go to the Dolores meeting last night. They will have a forum Wednesday night, tomorrow night, for their people that are running for the trustees of Dolores. So if you're interested in that, you can get over to Dolores and go ask questions over there. I did give them a briefing of everything that's going on in the county, and it was kind of humorous, but they're working on the demolition of the old facility that they're in, and they're working through the process to get the asbestos abatement done. And a young man that was learning how to drive, his father was teaching him how to park in the parking lot in their new facility, and ran into the building and started a demolition onto their new building. So nobody was hurt, so that's why it was humorous. Sorry for the 15-year-old young man that had to be the one that had that accident, but now their opening of their new city hall will not take place in April. They are going to now have to push that back till they get the insurance and everything squared away. They're done. But again, nobody was hurt, so it is a little bit humorous, but that will just get extended. And other than that, like I said, they have 6 open seats, and we'll see how that goes.
They're basically going to elect a new board.
Well, there are a couple incumbents running, so they could have some stabilization there. The mayor is rerunning, so, but it is a lot of open seats because of the appointments that they had to do for all of the vacancies that came up throughout the year. I did, we talked about this just a little bit yesterday briefly. We were asking about the 12 hours of Mesa Verde when we had our fairgrounds report. Mr. Balfour was in here today. He realized he wasn't on the agenda. We will put them on the agenda for next week for the use of the facilities out there at the fairgrounds for the 12 hours of Mesa Verde on May 11th, which is their typical Mother's Day weekend. So that will be forthcoming. And we went ahead and took care of everything on our unfinished business that we discussed yesterday, other than our department head reports, which we had the fairgrounds, we had MOCO, and the senior services that are combined now. We had Road and Bridge, so their schedule is out and what they are doing. So if you're interested, you can look further on that at our workshop yesterday. And with that, I have nothing else, gentlemen.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to adjourn this March 12th, 2024 meeting. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye.